The colony of Virelia was a dusty world far from Earth. Its sky was always red. The wind carried fine sand across the streets. It wasn't a beautiful place, but it was home to thousands of humans, a few alien races who lived on the edge of society. Peace existed, but just barely. The wounds from past wars between humans and alien species hadn't healed. Elias Crane, quiet human technician, lived alone on the edge of the colony. He wasn't strong or famous. He repaired machines, solar towers, and communication arrays. People liked him, but no one paid much attention to him. He never tried to stand out. Then one day, Elias made a strange announcement. He was getting married, and not just to anyone, to Kayla, a woman from a feared alien race known as the Single Quotes, or Yill. When people heard the news, they laughed. Merchants, even old friends of Elias known of them, believed it at first. The Trell were strange, tall and graceful beings, with soft silver skin and glowing eyes. But Kayla was different, even for her own kind. She didn't speak much, wore a hood to hide her face, and never joined the market or social events. Some said she lived in the old ruins outside the colony. She's cursed, a merchant whispered. Maybe she's controlling his mind, a soldier joked. Or maybe Elias lost his mind, others said, laughing in the bar, but Elias didn't. He had met Kayla during a sandstorm a year ago. She was injured and alone, and he had helped her. Slowly, they had grown close. She didn't smile much, but when she did, it was real. She asked questions, listened carefully, and showed him parts of the desert he never knew existed. Elias saw something in her no one else's did: kindness, pain, and strength. The day of the marriage was quiet. No big celebration, no music, no guests, except for a few curious onlookers. Elias stood in front of a simple arch made of scrap metal. Kayla stood beside him, tall and silent, her face half covered by a cloth. When the ceremony ended, someone clapped mockingly. A voice from the crowd shouted, "Good luck surviving the honeymoon." More laughter followed. Elias ignored it. Kayla remained calm, but her eyes darkened for a moment. That night, Elias and Kayla returned to his home on the edge of the colony. The house was small but clean. Machines lined the walls, and a small fire kept the cold desert air away. Kayla looked around. "This is warm," she said softly. "You're welcome here," Elias replied. "Always." For a moment, she said nothing. Then she took off her hood. Her face was smooth, silver blue and sharp. Her eyes were large and glowing, but not in a scary way. They were deep, filled with hidden memories. "You don't regret this?" she asked. Elias smiled. No. Over the next few weeks, people kept whispering behind Elias's back. Some avoided him. Others tested him with jokes and comments. Even his boss warned him that working with dangerous species might cause problems, but Elias stayed patient. Kayla helped him quietly, learning how to repair machines and use tools. She never complained. In the evenings, they sat on the roof and watched the twin moons rise. One night, as they sat in silence, distant alarms echoed from the colony center. "Raiders," Elias said. "It happens sometimes. They come in fast, steal food or fuel, then run." He stood to go help, but Kayla placed a hand on his arm. "Let me," she said. "You don't have to." "I do." Elias followed her as she moved quickly through the shadows. The raiders were already there, 3 large desert bikes speeding through the market, firing stun shots and stealing crates. One guard tried to stop them, but was knocked to the ground. Kala stepped forward. "Hey, stay back!" One of the raiders shouted. Kala didn't speak. Her eyes began to shine, and her body moved like a dancer through smoke. In a blink, she was on the first raider. She kicked the bike sideways and flipped the rider to the ground. The second one tried to shoot her, but she caught the stun blast with her bare hand. The third turned to escape. But Kayla jumped, landing directly on his bike and ripping out the power core. In under a minute, it was over. People stared. Silence filled the street. The guards didn't know what to say. The raiders groaned on the ground, defeated. Elias ran up to Kayla. "Are you okay?" he asked. She nodded. Behind them, someone finally spoke. That was impossible. "You see that? She's one of them?" The next day, rumors spread faster than sandstorms. Some said Kayla used dark powers. Others whispered she was a warrior or maybe royalty. But no one laughed anymore. Elias fixed a solar panel as two soldiers walked by. They didn't speak, but they didn't joke either. They only nodded cautious now. Kayla stayed indoors, quiet and distant. Elias knew she was hiding something deep, something old. He wanted to ask, but didn't push. That night, Kayla stood on the roof again. "Thank you for trusting me," she said. "I always will," Elias answered. She looked at the stars, her eyes reflecting their light. "Something is coming," she whispered. "Something terrible?" Elias stood beside her. "Then we'll face it together." The market was crowded, but the usual jokes and greetings were missing. People looked over their shoulders. Soldiers walked in pairs. Merchants packed faster than usual. Fear moved through the colony like a shadow, not because of the raiders, but because of Kayla. Some called her a guardian. Others said she was dangerous. Nobody knew the truth, and Kayla wasn't saying much. Elias noticed the change. Fewer people came to talk to him now. Some avoided eye contact. One old friend, Yalan, even crossed the street when Elias walked by. "Didn't expect this," Elias said quietly to Kayla as they worked on a broken fuel line. She stayed silent, her long fingers moving gently across the wires. "You saved them," Elias added, "but they act like they're afraid." Kayla sighed. "People fear what they don't understand. And they were never meant to understand the trowel." Elias paused. "Tell me, who are the trowel?" "Really?" Kayla didn't answer right away. She looked toward the mountains, where old ruins lay hidden in the rocks. "Come with me tonight," she said. "I'll show you." That night, they traveled under the red moon, walking away from the lights of the colony. The desert was quiet. The wind had stopped. Elias followed Kayla closely as they climbed through narrow paths between sharp cliffs. They reached a place Elias had never seen before, an old stone gate covered in dust and vines. It's half buried in the side of a canyon wall. Kayla placed her hand. On a circle carved into the stone, soft light appeared, and the gate opened with a low sound, revealing a path inside. Elias's eyes widened. "This place, it's alive." Kayla nodded. "It's Trill." The tunnel led them deep underground. Strange glowing symbols lined the walls. The air felt warm, almost like it remembered them. They reached a large chamber. In the center stood a tall device half machine, half stone with a crystal core that pulsed slowly like a heartbeat. "This is a memory anchor," Kayla said. "It holds the history of my people." Elias stepped closer, amazed. "Why is it here?" Kayla touched the crystal, and the air shimmered. Images began to appear around them, floating lights forming scenes of the past. He saw tall, silver-skinned beings, straighting on starships, shaping worlds, and guiding weaker species. They were not warriors. They were protectors. Builders, leaders, then came war. A great empire, the Vorn Dominionate, tacked the trowel across the galaxy. The trowel were too peaceful, too slow to fight back. Cities fell, their people scattered, and the survivors? Elias asked. Kayla lowered her hand. The images faded. Some died. Some hid. A few escaped. And a few stayed behind, blending into broken places like Varelia. Elias looked at her. "And you?" Kayla looked away. I'm not just one of them. I was born from the High Line, the last royal bloodline of the Trell. Elias felt his heart skip. "You're a princess." Kayla shook her head. "No, not anymore. Royal blood means nothing now, but the old machines still recognize me." Elias sat down on a stone. "That's why you stopped those raiders. Your body's stronger, faster. You've trained, haven't you?" Kayla nodded. "And the memory anchor has more. It can wake ancient defenses, but I never wanted to use them. Why? Because once I do, others will come looking for me." Back in the colony, trouble was already stirring. A message had arrived from orbit. A Vorn scout ship had passed near Varelia. It left without attacking. Its sensors had scanned something unusual, a Trell energy signature. Commander Riles, the head of Varelia's defense team, looked at the report with worry. This place was quiet for years, he said. Now, we've got ancient energy readings and rumors of a silver-skinned alien stopping raiders with her bare hands. He called for a meeting. The colony council gathered in the old tower. Who is this Kayla? Someone asked. Wife of Elias Crane, the tech guy, said another. They laughed bitterly, but this time it was nervous. She's a danger. If the Vorn find out she's here, they'll attack. But she protected us, another replied. The raiders would have taken everything. She could have brought this trouble, Ryle said. She's really Trell. She's a target. Kayla and Elias returned from the ruins in the early morning. As they entered the colony, they noticed something strange. Quiet streets, locked doors, and 2 armed guards at the gate. A soldier stopped them. Commander wants to speak to you both. Inside the tower, the council sat in a tense circle. Commander Ryle stood. Kayla, we need answers. Are you Trell? Kayla stayed calm. Yes, murmurs filled the room. Are you dangerous? Kayla looked at Elias, then back at the commander. Only to those who try to harm this world. Why did your people vanish? Because they believed in peace. Peace didn't save them. Riles folded his arms. The Vorn are watching. They will come if they think you're here. We don't have the strength to fight them. I can help, Kayla said. With what? Myths? Ancient tech that might not work? It works, Elias said firmly. I saw it with my own eyes. Riles stared at Elias. You risk everything for her. I already did, Elias replied, and I'd do it again. The meeting ended with no decision. The council was afraid. Some wanted to hide Kayla. Others wanted her gone. That evening, Elias and Kayla stood on the edge of the colony. Watching the stars? They don't trust me, she said softly. They will, Elias replied. They may not get the chance, Kayla. Pointed to the sky, a bright light moved among the stars. A ship. Large, dark, and shaped like a blade. The Vorn had arrived. The dark ship hovered above Varelia, its shadow falling over the colony like a warning from the sky. Its shape was sharp and silent, with no lights or sounds. But everyone knew what it was. The Vorn Dominion had found them. People in the colony panicked, shops closed. Families stayed indoors. Children were told to keep quiet. Soldiers stood by the walls with nervous hands on their weapons. Commander. Riles looked through his binoculars at the ship in the sky. No message, no landing. They're just watching us, he said. Waiting for something. Elias stood nearby. Watching too, they scanned the surface. They must know Kayla is here. Riles frowned. Then we need her gone. Elias stepped in front of him. She's not the problem. She's our only chance. She's the reason they're here. She's also the reason your colony didn't fall to raiders last week. Elias didn't reply. He just walked away. Back at their home, Kayla sat silently, her eyes closed. She could feel the ship above, like a weight on her body. Trow's senses were sharp, and the Vorn's presence was like poison in the air. They know, she said. Elias sat beside her. Then we fight. Kayla shook her head. Not yet. First we wake what sleeps. What do you mean, Kayla? Stood. Come with me. Oh, I need your help. They traveled once again to the ancient ruins in the mountains. This time Kayla moved with purpose. Her steps were faster, her voice more firm. Inside the hidden chamber, she touched the memory anchor again. But now the crystal responded with stronger light. The walls around them shifted. Hidden panels opened. A spiral staircase appeared, leading downward. Are you sure it's safe? Elias asked. No, Kayla said, but it must be done. They walked down into a deep chamber filled with strange machine-stall towers, with glowing rings, silent drones, and metal arms folded tight like sleeping statues. This is the core, Kayla whispered. Here the planet's old defenses wait. She stepped onto a platform. Symbols glowed beneath her feet. A soft hum filled the air. A voice spoke in the Trell language old, soft and mechanical. Kayla answered quickly. The machine paused. Then the room came to life. Lights turned on. Air blew through vents. The drones opened their eyes, glowing gently. Elias looked around in awe. You activated it? Kayla nodded. Only someone with high-line blood can. The system knows me. Back in the colony, everyone looked up in fear as the sky changed. Bright beams of light rose from the mountains. 5 columns of pure energy shooting upward into the clouds. Then one by one, ancient satellite weapons in orbit powered on. Had slept for hundreds of years. But now they were awake again. Commander Riles ran to the command center. What's happening? Someone shouted. Double quotes, sir. Unknown weapons just came online above the planet. Are they Vorn? No, sir. They're older Trell technology. Riles' face turned pale. She did this, he whispered. Kayla and Elias returned to the colony gate. Soldiers pointed weapons at them, unsure of what to do. I told you I could help, Kayla said to Riles, who had come to meet them. You also told me others would come, he replied. Are we at war now? Kayla nodded slowly. Vorn do not talk. They destroy. But we can still stop them. How? By striking first. That night, a meeting was held in the colony's central square. For the first time, humans, aliens, workers, soldiers, and elders stood together. Kayla spoke. My people were not warriors, she said. We built, we taught, we helped others rise. But we were hunted for our gifts. She looked at the sky. The Vorn ship still hung there like a vulture. They will not stop. They want what the Trowel left behind. They will crush this colony if we wait. Commander Ryle stepped forward. And you're saying we should let you lead us? Kayla looked around. Not lead. Fight beside you. I have the knowledge. Elias has the tools. Together, we can stand. A chance. Someone in the crowd shouted. But we're just farmers and traders. Elias raised his hand. So am I. I'm not a soldier, but I'm tired of being afraid. Kella's not our enemy. She's our strength. Slowly, heads nodded. People whispered to each other. For the first time, fear turned into hope. The next day, work began. Kayla taught the engineers how to connect old Trill systems with human tech. Elias worked day and night to fix communication arrays and power cores. Drones from the ruins helped build defenses. The satellite weapons in orbit were tested and calibrated. Even Riles joined the efforts. Training new recruits, the colony had turned into a fortress, but time was short. The Vorn finally moved, without warning. The ship above split into smaller. Craft's 3 warships dropped from the sky, fast and silent, heading straight for the colony. Alarms rang. Get to cover. All defense units, activate. Kayla stood at the edge of the platform with a small device in her hand. She closed her eyes and sent a signal in space. The Trell satellites turned. They fired. Beams of golden light struck the lead Vorn ship, slicing through its shields. The craft exploded midair. The second ship dodged, but its wing was hit, and it spun down, crashing into the far desert. The third ship made it through. It hovered above the colony, lowering deadly machines onto the ground. Vorn soldiers stall. Now dark-armored beings with no faces marched toward the gates. Kayla jumped into action. With a wave of her hand, the ground shook. The old machines from the corn now activated droves from hidden chambers. Guardian units, large and glowing, stood beside human soldiers. The battle had begun. Kayla moved like light, her body glowing faintly as she faced the Vorn. Elia supported from the tower, using his tools to reroute power, keep systems online, direct satellite strikes. People who once laughed at Elias now followed his lead. Kayla, the Outcast, now fought at the center of the battlefield, her power burning with every move. By sunset, the last Vorn soldier had fallen. The third ship fled back to space, damaged and beaten, The colony was still standing, but this was only the beginning. Kayla looked up. They'll return with more. Elias stood beside her, and we'll be ready. The sun rose over Varelia, painting the sky with soft orange and red. The battle was over, but the land was still scarred. Smoke rose from broken walls. Machines sparked in the streets. People moved slowly, tired and silent. But the colony had survived, thanks to Kayla. And Elias soldiers stood near the gates, eyes no longer filled with fear, but with respect. Children pointed at the sky, speaking excitedly about the glowing weapons that came from space. The old were quiet, still trying to believe what they had seen. Kayla walked through the streets, helping where she could. Her silver-blue skin was scratched and her robe torn, but she didn't rest. She lifted heavy beams off trapped workers, repaired broken drones, and calmed crying children with soft words. Elias stayed close to her. He worked with the engineers, fixing damaged systems and guiding the colony's power grid back to full strength. His hands were dirty, and his face tired, but his heart was strong. People looked at him differently now, not as the man who married the alien outcast, but as the man who stood by her side when no one else did. Later that evening, Commander Riles called a meeting at the colony's tower. The room was filled with leaders, soldiers, and workers. Kayla and Elias stood near the front. Riles cleared his throat. The Vorn have tasted defeat, but they will return. We wounded them. Next time they won't come with 3 ships. A quiet murmur filled the room. Kayla stepped forward. Then we must awaken more. More what? Someone asked. More of what lies hidden beneath this planet, she said. My ancestors did not just leave a few machines. They built a guardian, a protector powerful enough to stand against an army. Commander Riles raised an eyebrow. And where is it? Kayla turned to Elias. He knows. Elias blinked. I do. She smiled slightly. You repaired the signal last month. The one from the mountain's base, you told me. It kept repeating the same sound. Elias's eyes widened. It wasn't broken. It was calling something. Kayla nodded. It was a sleep command. For a Titan. The next day, Kayla led a team to the far edge of the Canyonlands. Soldiers, builders, and engineers followed. Elias walked beside her, holding a tool belt and a scanner. After hours of walking, they reached a rocky valley. First, it looked empty, just sand and cliffs. But Kayla knelt near a strange symbol on the ground. This is the heart, she said. She pressed her palm against the symbol. The earth trembled. A circle of stone opened slowly, revealing a deep tunnel below. They went down into the darkness. Old lights flickered on as they passed. Air was thick, heavy, and full of energy. The bottom was a huge chamber so wide. It felt like a stadium, and there, sleeping in silence, was the Titan. It was tall like a building. Its body was smooth and metallic with lines of blue energy across its arms and legs. It had no face, just a glowing core in its chest. Is it alive? Someone asked. In a way, Kayla replied. It is waiting. She stepped forward and placed her hand on the control panel. Symbols lit up. A voice, deep and ancient, echoed through the room. Trail bloodline detected. Command accepted. The Titan's eyes opened to bright beams of blue light. Its chest pulsed. The ground shook. Kayla didn't move. The Titan stood. It had awakened. Back in the colony, people gathered to watch as the Titan walked toward them slowly, each step shaking the ground. But instead of fear, they watched in awe. Children climbed on roofs to get a better look. Soldiers lowered their weapons. Elders bowed their heads. The Titan stopped just outside the colony gates, standing still like a silent guard. Commander Riles looked up at it and turned to Elias. Your wife is full of surprises. Elias grinned. You're just noticing that now? Days passed, Kayla trained volunteers in how to use the Trell technology. She gave instructions to builders, taught soldiers how to move beside the Titan, and helped the colony form. New defense patterns. She did not act like a queen. She did not command from above. She worked beside them, sweat on her forehead, dirt on her hands. That's why people followed her. One night, as the stars came out, Kayla sat on the rooftop with Elias. "The Titan will help." "But we still face a storm," she said. Elias leaned back. "We'll be ready." She looked at him. "You believe in me, even when no one else did. I saw you before the power, before the machines. I saw you when no one was watching." Kayla took his hand. "And now they all are." In space, far beyond Varelia, a fleet of Vorn ships gathered. Their leader, figure covered in black armor, watched a screen showing Kayla and the Titan beside her. "High-line blood." The voice hissed. A second figure asked, "Should we strike now?" "Not yet," the leader said. "Let her build. Let her hope. Then we break her." Back on Varelia, Kayla stood at the edge of the canyon, wind blowing through her hair, the Titan behind her, the colony strong and united. She could feel it. The real war was coming, but she was no longer alone. The air was thick with tension over Varelia. The colony, once peaceful, had become a fortress. Soldiers patrolled the streets, engineers worked on repairs, and Kayla's Titan stood like a silent giant watching the horizon. But the calm was only a breath before the storm. At the colony's command center, alarms screamed. "Vorn fleet incoming." The communications officer shouted through the large window. The sky darkened with dozens of black ships, moving fast and ready for war. Commander Riles barked orders, "Prepare the defenses. Everyone to battle stations." Kayla stood beside Elias, her eyes sharp and steady. "This is it," she said. Elias nodded. Gripping her hand tightly, the first wave of Vorn fighters dove down like hawks. The Trow satellites opened fire, sending golden beams slicing through the enemy ships. One by one, the fighters exploded in flashes of light. But more kept coming. Soon, enemies' heavy warships appeared, large and covered in dark armor. One warship hovered above the colony, dropping armored soldiers and machines. The ground shook. As the machines landed, Kayla stepped forward. She touched the control panel on the Titan's chest. The giant stirred. Its eyes glowed brighter. It raised its arms, sending waves of energy that pushed back the Vorn machines. The Titan's steps crushed enemy vehicles and blocked soldiers with powerful shields. On the ground, the human and alien fighters moved together. Elias led a squad of engineers and soldiers, fixing damaged defenses and fighting off invaders. Suddenly, a group of Vorn soldiers surrounded them, cutting off their escape. Elias pulled out a small device jammer he had built. He activated it, sending out a pulse that disabled the Vorn's weapons briefly. The squad escaped and rejoined the main forces. Meanwhile, Kayla faced the Vorn commander, an imposing figure in black armor. They clashed fiercely. Kayla moved with speed and grace. Using her Trell strength and ancient knowledge, the commander attacked with advanced weapons. But Kayla dodged and countered. With energy blasts from her hands, the fight was intense. Suddenly, Kayla was hit and stumbled. She fell to the ground. Injured, Elias saw this from afar and ran to her side. Fighting off enemies in his path, he reached Kayla and helped her up. "Stay with me," he said. She smiled weakly. Together, she whispered, "Elias?" Remembered a device Kayla had shown him, a healing pod hidden in the ruins. He carried her to the pod. The pod opened, and Elias placed Kayla inside. Lights glowed softly as the pod healed her wounds. Minutes later, she opened her eyes, stronger than before, refreshed. Kayla stood tall. She called to the Titan. The giant moved forward and lifted its hands, sending a powerful energy wave that knocked the enemy back. Then from the mountains, a hidden underground chamber opened. A biomechanical guardian emerged, larger than the Titan. With glowing circuits and armor plates, it was the Ancient Protector. The last defense of the single quotes, Uriel, the Ancient Protector charged into battle, its massive fists smashed enemy war machines. Its energy shield blocked heavy attacks. The Vorn soldiers were stunned. With Kayla, Elias, the Titan, and the ancient protector fighting together. The tide of battle turned. The Vorn fleet began to retreat, their ships damaged and their soldiers defeated. As the dust settled, the colony cheered. Kayla and Elias stood side by side. Exhausted but victorious, Commander Riles approached them. "You were right," he said. "You saved us all." Elias smiled. "We saved each other. The battle was over, but the war was not." Kayla looked toward the stars. "They will come back," she said. Elias squeezed her hand. "We'll be ready." The morning sun bathed Veralia in a soft golden light. The air was calm. The colony was no longer just a place of survival. It had become a home where hope lived. Kayla stood on a hill overlooking the city. Her silver-blue skin shone in the sunlight. The Titan and the ancient protector stood quietly near the canyon, silent guardians watching over the land. Beside her stood Elias. His face was tired but peaceful. "It's different now," Kayla said softly. Elias nodded. "You changed everything." Kayla smiled. "We changed everything." Colony was rebuilding. Broken buildings were fixed, machines repaired. Gardens grew where dust once lay. People worked side by side, humans, Trell, and other alien species. Children laughed, playing games that mixed cultures and stories. The old fears were fading. The leaders of the colony met often, planning a future where no one would live in fear again. One day a ceremony was held in the heart of the city. A great crowd gathered, flags of many colors flew in the gentle breeze. Kayla was offered a crown by the surviving Trell elders. It was simple, but shining a symbol of hope, strength, and unity. She looked at the crowd, then at Elias. "I will accept this crown," she said. "Only if Elias stands with me." Elias stepped forward. Together. The crowd cheered. Next weeks were busy. Kayla and Elias worked as partners, leaders, and friends. Kayla listened to the people. She encouraged learning and cooperation. She made sure the ancient trail knowledge was shared wisely. Elias helped build new technology, blending human tools with trail power. Their love became a symbol, a story told by parents to children, a promise that trust and kindness could change the world. One evening, as stars filled the sky, Kayla and Elias sat quietly by a small fire outside their home. "Did you ever think this would happen?" Elias asked. Kayla smiled. "No, but I always believed in you." He took her hand. "I believed in you too." They watched the stars, feeling the peace they had fought for, far away. In the dark corners of space, the Vorn Dominion was silent. Their defeat on Varelia was a lesson. They would not return for a long time. The galaxy was changing. Back on Varelia, life continued. New ships were built not for war, but for exploration. New schools opened, teaching history, science, and art. And in the heart of the city, Kayla and Elias walked together, no longer an outcast and a quiet technician, but a queen and her human. The people who once laughed at their marriage told their story with pride. They told of a man who saw beyond fear and a woman who revealed her true power, not just through strength, but through love and hope.